grateful for all of you who have joined. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Gomatam Seshadri Swami, for joining us and giving us this lecture. One humble request: if you are not speaking, please mute your phones so that way we can hear the lecture, without any other background noises. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
கேக்குறதா?
கேக்குறது.
ஹரி ஓம் அஸ்மத்குருभ्यो நமः. ஸ்ரீசைலே சதயா பாத்திரம் தீபக்தியாதிகுணார்ணவம் யதீந்திரப்ரவணம் வந்தே ரம்யஜாமாதரம் முனிம் வரமுனி தயாபாத்திரம் கோமடகுலோதிதம் ஸ்ரீனிவாசார்யம் வந்தே அஸ்மத் குலதேசிகம். நமஸ்ஸபாய யாத்ரா दूरवाणी एवं सहायतया समागतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः दासस्य नमस्कारः. ईदिनं सुदिनं च मे इदानीं श्रीमान् पार्थसारथी श्रीनिवासः स्वामिनस्य जन्मदिनसन्दर्भे स्मारकदिने धर्मस्य प्रयोजनं किं? धर्ममेव प्रयोजनं. धर्मस्य प्रयोजनं किम्? एवं धर्मस्य फलं तु अभ्युदयः एवं निःश्रेयसः विषये वक्तुम् इति इच्छामि. अनुगृहीतोऽस्मि. Good morning to one and all. Don't worry, I'm not going to speak in Sanskritam. It is a very important day for me because one of the thing is Asmat Kula Vardhatam, the important aspect of the Sanatana Dharma or the followers of Sanatana Dharma is to cherish our forefathers and to pray their blessings for the well-being of our future generation. Words fail to acknowledge the efforts taken by Bahini Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy, Aarti Parthasarathy, Preeti and their family. I don't know how I could express my gratitude. And it is also a pleasure for me to have many of my advanced graduate students who learn dharmic studies apart from my regular day 9 to 5 hat. I also have the opportunity to teach in multiple affiliated universities, and they are also joining here. So we welcome them all. So I have been knowing, it's a Smaraka Dhina. So I have been knowing Dr. Jayanti and Sriman Parthasarathy's family for a little while. And there is some history also. In fact, Dr. Jayanti's maternal side is related to me, Dr. Nangaracharya, and my grandfather, T.V. Srinivasachari, who was a very leading lawyer in Chennai, used to be friends. So I come to know this off late when Dr. Jayanti joined my class. More than she learning from me, I have been learning a lot from her, and that is what I'm going to talk. And with that introduction, the talk is going to focus, and I will interlude or while I am talking about this Brihat subject, as AzhvArs says, Silamilla Chiliyen, Eli Elimban. But still, it's only because of the affection. I pray my preceptor, Swami Manavala Mamanigal, to grant me the wisdom to speak a few words about Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. So Veda invokes Idinam Sudinam Chame. The Samhita Bhaga in the center, Madhya, the Madhya Bhaga of Veda invokes the auspiciousness of a day. Tadaiva lagnam sudinam tadaiva tarabhalam chandrabhalam tadaiva vidyaha bhalam daiva bhalam tadaiva Lakshmipate tengriyugam manasa smarami. May the Sriyapati, the Lord of Sri Mahalakshmi, grant us auspiciousness. That is Sanatana Dharma. What is Sanatana Dharma? Dharayati iti Dharma. The one that bears us, the one that protects us is Dharma. Veda, both Samhita Bhaga and Vedanta, of course, is replete of Vakya about Dharma. Dharmo va adipatihi dharmameva varundhe. The Lord, of course, the Lord is Sriyapati, but still Veda, in its own innate way, abstract way, that too in the Brahmana Bhaga, when it is explaining about the mantras, it invokes this. All what you have to know is what is Dharma. Dharma means different things to others. Kannada says one thing, Upanishad says one thing, but it is nothing but that one that protects you, and it is the supreme. Dharmova adhipatihi dharmameva varunde. We have to aspire for this Dharma. Namo dharmaya brigate, Vyasa says in the 4th canto, I suppose. So we are going to see how this Dharma is nothing but it is the Adhipati. And it's Adhipati for us, it is nothing but Krishna. Yecha Vedhavido Vipraha, Yecha Adhyatma Vidho Janaha, Te Vadhanti Mahatmanam Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam. It is the Supreme, it is the Adhipati, it is the Master. Who is the Master? Is nothing but Krishna. Dhaumya says, when Yudhishthira and all the Panchapandavas were kind of dejected in the Vana, he brought some Purohits with him, and one of the leading Purohit is Dhaumya. This should come in the Tirtha Yatra Anuparva, I suppose. Sometimes my memory may slip in giving correct references, but Mahamuni Anugrahat, probably here and there Anuvakas or chapters I may miss, but please bear with me. Satulu Unde, it is to my father and my grandfather and all the learned Vidwans of AzhvArs Nagari and elsewhere. Tappudu Unte Dasuki. So if there is any blemish, it's me. So it's in the Vanaparva, that too in the Tirtha Yatra Parva, Dhaumya says, hey, don't get dejected. Have faith in the Supreme. That Supreme is nothing but your friend, your relative, your Sakha. Te Vadanti Mahatmanam Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam. Is Sanatana Dharma is nothing but Sri Krishna. So, and everywhere the hope, the faith, these Panchapandavas are even Sri Ram. Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasarathatmajam. He tells, but so Valmiki has to portray Rama as like us, Sajatiya. So he also gets dejected. That you see in the later part of Aranyakanda and early part of Kishkindakanda. We don't have time. I've been given only 45 minutes. I'll try to come to the subject quickly. So we are going to see how this Dharma is helping us to pull along. Okay, what is Dharma? Is this the way of Dharma? Is this the art of living? We all have seen the trilogies of Star Wars. The Last Jedi says Leia Organa, the one of the leading actors of this trilogy. See, hope is like the sun. If you only believe in it when you can see it, you will never make it through the night. This is not what we are going to talk. This is not Dharma. Dharma is full of hope. But the Star Wars gives a different twist. Probably it's a movie. But this is the premise I'm going to take and build upon. Of course, we will build this talk based on Shruti, Smriti, Sadacharaha, and everything. So the basis is going to be, but this is the starting point. This is not what we want. We can't live. We won't get up the next morning if we are believing this phrase of Leah. But what is the answer to it is what is all about Dharma. So wait for it, and we'll finish up with hope. The text will flow. It's like Ganges flowing with lot of tributaries, which will be Sriti, Smriti, Sadachara, Ramayana, and of course, Arulichayal. Anyway, in Tamil Bhakti poem. So this is not what we are going to. Life will be zero, sunyam, not if we take this word of Leah, but this movie ran. Well, this is the 8th episode or something like that. Okay. So we are going to talk about Dharma. First and foremost, you should have a faith, Mahavishwasam. Once you have a faith in something, right, you have to say that the pilot, I believe in the pilot, I believe in this airplane, so I'm going to fly 10,000 miles from Bharat to Pushkara Kshetra, United States. So the faith for us as a Sanatana Dharmic people is the uttermost faith in Supreme, more importantly, the uttermost faith in the Vakya of the Supreme. So that is understanding the Supreme. That is the faith. Once you understand the Supreme, according to Sri Ramanuja Siddhanta, we are there. We are existing. So we have to understand ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. And this is what Sriman Parthasarathy and their family did. And understanding the purpose of life. When you take the Bhashya of Swami Ramanuja, he says even Sandhya Vandana has a pala. Right, when he talks about 247, Karmanyeva Adhikaraste, I'm not going to go elaborate. So everything there is a purpose. So understanding the purpose of life, to lead a life, you need to have certain values. These are the 4 legs of the table upon which we are going to build this Upanyasa, Prabhashana. So first and foremost, what we say, the faith. According to the Sanatana Dharma, of course, let's not nitpick. Sanatana Dharma or Astika, so we believe in Veda, and there are multiple ways of whether it is separate or it is an entire entity on its own or it is from Brahman. I am of the opinion that even though Yasya Nisvasito Vedaha, Rig Yajur Sama Atharvangirasa, even though Brihadaranyaka says there are 2 different thoughts, even according to these Marthas, there are 2 different thoughts, but I am of the opinion that the Veda is under the supremacy of Brahman. So Supreme is the cause. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Tajjalani, Shanta Upasita. Everything is from Brahma. That Brahman. So he is the creator, he is the sustainer, and I'm not saying that he is the destroyer, he is the absorber. So what is this? We are based on faith that Supreme is the material cause. And if you have that Supreme, so he is going to take care of us. Sharanagati. Sakrideva. Only one time is enough. I'm not going into Sampradaya Bheda. That is not the aspect of this talk. So, when you have that faith in the Supreme, that Mahavishwasam, if people could kindly mute, that will be helpful, because my graduate students are taking this as a credit. So they have to take notes. So faith leads to hope, because you have to get up tomorrow. After Danta Shoshanam, you have to do your Pratas Sandhya, and then you have to do your all the puja and things. So that is hope that there is tomorrow. And if that is going to be the pathway, it will lead to life, whether it is 10 years or 20 years. It is his benevolence to us. So these are the 3 things. We are all based on faith. And this is what I glean every day. It's unfortunate that we could only meet once a week, where Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy and others come for the Sangoshti. We come together once a week and learn probably Bhotayantav Parasparam. I learn from them. So this is what I get, faith. No matter she has to take care of her family, she goes to the hospital, does her day job. And more importantly, I understand she's a great culinary expert, particularly Puliyara. And Mama Parthasarathy Swami, I heard that he likes pulikuttu with puliora. So that is a hope. Of course, we offer that to the Supreme and then only we take it as a prasad. So anyway, that given. So that is kind of the hope you have, because we have some faith. We have faith in that Brahman, and we have the faith in the Vakya or the edicts of the Brahman, that is Veda. So not only Veda, for Sri Vaishnavas, apart from Veda, Arulichayal is Sarva Pramanyam as well. So anyway, I am from AzhvArs Trinagari. To us, it is only AzhvArs Arulichayal. Vedaha smritihi sadacharaha swasya priyamatmanaha etat chaturvidaha prahu sakshat dharmasya lakshanam. Manu says. So don't only limit to Vedas. Smriti, Sadacharaha, Sishtacharaha. Then he puts one additional there. Swasya Priyamatmanaha Santushtihi. Whatever makes you happy, whatever gives you Nisreyas, that is Kanada's Sutra Vakya. So it gives you that happiness. It gives you happiness comes from hope. Happiness, that hope springs from faith. Faith, hope, and that leads to way of life. So we see that in Shriman, we saw that in Shriman Parthasarathy, and we are seeing that on a daily basis in Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy and Aarti. I don't have much interaction with Preeti, but so that's why I can't invoke her name much. So faith in Supreme, faith in oneself, and faith in Vedas. And Das has already alluded to, Vedas is not only limited to that corpus. Vedas spring into different things as well. Vedaha smritihi sadacharaha swasya priyamatmanaha, according to Manu. So first, let's establish the Supreme. So who is the Supreme? Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti, the Adhya Veda. Rig Veda tells this. So Vedas, okay, everybody knows Vedas talks about rituals, particularly Ishet, Urjetva, Vayavasto, Vayavastaha, Devo, Vasavita. It starts with Pratama, Prapataka, with Darshapurna Ishti, then goes to Pratama Kanda. In first Kanda, Saptama Prapatakame, Vajapayam, and then it goes to Rajasuyam. In the first, okay, it's all full of ritual. Is that all what Vedas are about? No, Vedas, first and foremost, the important aspect of Veda is to show light upon that Brahman. The Prathama Mandala of Rig Veda tells that all-inclusive monotheism. So, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. It tells that. So, he said, not Pratullalai. So he is that, is there so much of enjoyment there. So we can't express the limit. There's no limit to express the Ananda Swarupa, the Guna Swarupa, or the Jnana Swarupa. AzhvArs says that in 882, Adiyenullan, Udalullan, Andattagattan, Puratullan, Padiye idu endru. We can't say this is the limit. So Veda tells that. Of course, it gives up first aprapya manasasaha, but then it tells is gunam. You experience guna, and then upabrahmanattam, Ramayanam came. Okay, so, and then later on, the understanding of Vedas, seers saw that using Smriti Vakyas, we don't limit only to Vedas, we don't limit only to Smritis, we also go one step beyond and to take important things, because it explains us more close to us, Itihasa and Purana. Prataparudriyam says that this is, you don't limit only to Rajasamhita, don't only limit to the edicts of Raja. Go into one step further. Suhrit Samhita, Kanta Samhitataya. Prataparudriyam brings that Lakshanam. Anyway, and more importantly, practices of elders. We have seen in many people like AzhvArs Swami and Dr. Tirunarayanan Swami of Trichy and all those. I go quite often to National College, so I hear about all these people. Anyway, so we also gather and glean from these elders. Munnor Morinda Murai Tappamal Kettu. Swami Mananamaligal emphasizes so. Take all these and you got to cherry pick. Of course, that is always there. You cherry pick without deviating from the base boundary, without deviating from the base, cherry pick. And I'm not here giving you a tutorial on Vedanta. There are much more learned people than us. I'm going to bring, because this is the lecture, this is the class we take for a 3 credit hour at master's and PhD levels. So we are going to talk about Vedas. So what are Vedas? Vedas tell how to live. பொறுமையென்னும் நகையணிந்து பெருமை கொள்ள வேண்டும். பொறுமையென்னும் நகையணிந்து கோபதாபம் தள்ளி. So this is the foremost important is it gives you a way of life. And I see this in Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy. பொறுமை என்னும் நகை அணிந்து கோபதாபம் தள்ளி கோடி செம்பொன் குவிந்தாலும் குளிர்ந்த வார்த்தை சொல்லி. Parthasarathy became a chartered accountant. Of course, he would have made money. Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy practiced at a dentist, so they made money. But still, look at that humility. கோடி செம்பன் குவிந்தாலும் குளிர்ந்த வார்த்தை சொல்லி. Then you live. How do you live? You live by showing yourself as an example. Amandhan stoman prabhare manisha sindhavadhi kshiyate bhavyasya yomam sahasrasya amimite rajasrava ichamana. This is what Rig Veda begins to tell about way of life. Once upon a time, don't ask me, I'm not here to give you or date the time of Veda, but the thing what happened was, of course, there's nothing to be blamed. We became more karmatas. All we did is, okay, upayukta bhaga, we pluck it. Okay, this is the one, take it, what Bodhayana said, memorize this. All the way, start from Ishet Urjetva, and then you finish with Pavamana Sukta, and then you memorize it, and you go recite, make some money. That is not Veda. Vedas basis this, if we understand, if we educate. Vedas saw. These seers saw, and Rig Veda tells these seers as Kavi. So there once upon a time. So the purpose is, I'm not here saying which came first, when did it came. That's not our purpose. The purpose is to show how Vedas showed the way of living. Of course, they showed the Paraman, Supreme. That is not also the subject of this talk. Vedas showed how the civilization flourished, how people lived. The first and foremost, people settled on the banks. When they settled on the bank, obviously some people became powerful, some people became rich. So then the Veda instructs them to be benevolent, to give to people. Amandhan stoman prabhare manisha sindhavadi, on the banks of Sindhu. Once upon a time, the group flourished, and there was a poet or a rishi called Kakshivan. It is hidden in Rig Veda. That is the basis of Sanatana Dharma. It tells how people lived. Then this Kakshivan was under the patronage of kings called Bhavya, Bhavyasya Apatyam Pumani iti Bhavya Sunaya. There was a king called Sunaya, young man. This young man started patronizing people. He gave tons and tons of gold and cows and horse, so that that particular group of Kakshivan and other people, learned people, can propagate knowledge. Amandhan stoman prabhare manisha sindhavadichyate bhavyasya. Only if you are a Rig Ganapati you may know, but this is how the Vedas go. Vedas tell about the way of living, starting that the civilization flourished. Then the civilization moved eastwards towards Ganges and Yamunas. That you see in the second prasna of Aranyaka. Okay, then it gives you how to lead a life. What should be the purpose of life? Nadi Manandi. So you go marry somebody. How do you marry? You marry somebody, but you have to give and take. Narum poovum pola kudi. This is Kotthamangalam Subbu's, what a great lyric in Sutta Saveri. Anyway, so like flower and a thread, live. And then you take life in a family way. நல்லறமாகிய இல்லற வாழ்வினில் எல்லை இல்லா பேரின்பம் அடைந்து பொறுமை என்னும் நகையணிந்து. So you have to have this patience, because life is all about ups and downs. You pull that life, because in those days when Kakshivan was starting to live, he didn't have anything. So then he found out that You need to tell about, although it says Rajasrava Ichamanaha, he was interested in listening about himself, probably, yes. But then this Kakshivan goes to that landlord. We don't call him a Raja because he's probably a chieftain or a landlord. And this Kakshivan describes the problems his clan has been facing, and that Bhavya and his son Sunaya were all God-fearing people, because prior to that already the importance of supreme the Rig Veda tells. So then what happens? He starts patronizing the group of people so that they can live well. So this is what Veda is all about. So Veda starts by telling, although it starts with Agnimihile Purohitam Yajnasya Deva Mritvijam Ide. You pray Agni. Okay, it is Agni, Avamo, Devata. It's not that it is the lowest form of Devata. It is Avamo, proximate Devata. That's one good thing with Sanskritam and one good thing with Veda. It is flexible. You can't say that it is the lowest of all the Devata. No, Agni Mukha Asarva Devata Prinati. So then you have to do this kind of a Anvayam. So Agni is the proximate deity. So they pray to that Agni, because in those days they were able to worship all those natural things. Then slowly Agram Nayati iti Agni. Ye Agni, you take me out of crooked path. Juhumanaha Agnenaya Supataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yojyasmat Juhuranam Yenaha Papaha Agaha Jugurana Papaha. Take me out of this. So I'm seeing you as a Pratyaksha Devata. So they need to have some faith. Okay, you have to have some faith. You can't work in an abstract. So this is what the Veda tells. Once it tells about Supreme, it talks about how to lead the life. Ano Badha Kratavoyantu Vishwataha. Go gather information from everywhere. Knowledge. So this knowledge is not only limited to supreme knowledge about way of living. Adhabdaso aparitaha. Without any contamination. I'm just loosely translating. Aparitaso. Without any limits. Udbhidaha. Like a force. So let that knowledge come from everywhere. So starting Sapta Sindhu region, Shududri, Marutniya, Asikniya, Parushniya, all those regions, people gathered knowledge. Then they started moving eastwards. So they are trying to either educate or gather information. Okay, about spiritual and practical aspect. And that is Veda. Veda not only tells, that is the thing I'm hammering here, not only tells about, okay, pray, do this. Okay, start with Darshapurna Ishti. Of course, that is Yajur. So it has first 50 words, especially 46 words talks about. That too is beautiful. It tells that how to pluck a twig to separate the calf from the cow. Beautiful. You got to go see Bhattabhaskara or Shayana. Then you will understand the purpose of Veda. It's not that simply memorizing and using it in a Karma Bhaga. Nobody is denying that. But the underpinning thing is how it tells. So I need to milk. It is on the day of Amavasa or Paurnamasa, Darshana day or Paurnamasa. You have to milk because you need Ghritam for the next day. Once in a 15-day, Darshapurna Ishti, you need to have the Ghrita, you need to have the Ajyam. So how do you get the Ajyam? You need to have a milk. How do you get milk? You milk the cow. So how do you milk the cow? You have to separate it from the calf. So basically you are hurting the calf. So Veda begins like that. On a particular evening of Amavasya, not evening, on a later day of Amavasya, go to a forest, pluck a tree and pray to the tree that you are only plucking for. Look at this. This is way of life. Ishet urjetvo vayavasto devo vasavita prarthayatu shtretthatamaya karmana apya. This is we learn. But the understanding is achinoti. I am cutting this twig so that I will use this twig to mildly separate the calf from the cow, because I need to milk, because I have to give oblation of Grita on the Darshapurna Ishti. This is what Veda is. Imagine, this is the way of life. It says, even to milk a cow, people pay attention. Oh, I have to separate the calf from the cow. But I can't take a huge stick and beat the calf. Or I can't drag the calf. It will hurt the calf and the mother will also cry. So take a nice green taruna twig and separate by tempting the calf with this twig. Of course, it's a fertile greenish twig, and then separate. So that is Now, why do we take this? So, this is the way of life. So, the Supreme doesn't just tell, okay, use this Veda just to eulogize me. It's not his purpose, because it is an aid, Mama. Veda should be a doctrine. Veda should be a way of life. Then it should not only say, okay, do this is him, this is he, this is Ashwapurvam Ratamatyam Astinada Prabodhini. So, this Mahalakshmi is in the front face of horse. Mahalakshmi is in the Dhvani of Gaja, Asthina the Prabodhi. Okay, all this is there. But that's not only the purpose of Veda, because it is the breath of the Brahman. So the Brahman is like a Sarvapita. His first and foremost purpose is to give us a good way of living. So Vedas tell us good way of living. Then we'll run on the fourth gear. So Vedas taught all this. Okay, do this, do that. Sakyeta mayosham sakyayan mamayo oshta. Sasi subramanye. All this is there. What we do? Nothing. Then these are explained in Ramayana. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody goes through suffering. Nadi mananda nada nodu. So Ram married Sita. He went through pain. Narum malarum pola kudi. Annalum nokkinal, avalum nokkinal. They were made for each other. Nadi mananda nada nod. Narum malarum pola kudi. Nallara magiya illa. 12 years. Ram and Sita, one of the best married life. That's all they enjoyed in their life. நாரும் மலரும் போல கூடி நல்லறமாகிய இல்லற வாழ்வில் எல்லையில்லா பேரின்பம் அடைந்து. This is what Sriman Parthasarathy also enjoyed with Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy. Right. So like that. But then what did Ram do? Whenever he had to show valor, he did. But he was very smart because he was patient. Sometimes he was Manushya, so he showed his emotion. But all through Ramayana, Vedopa Brahmanarthaya, whenever he had to use the valor, he did. But prior to that, this you know that when he took, in a way, I don't accept it as a Sharanagati. For us, he showed as a Sharanagati to Samudra Raja. That's a different story. We don't want to go into those nuances. That he did. So similarly, when there is a discussion going on between Lakshmana and Rama, Rama says, I believe in Daivatam. Daivatam here means it's not God, it's a Vidhi. Ujvinai urtu andu urtum Silapadigaram. So he says, but then that interaction between Lakshmana and Rama tells this, whereas Lakshmana says there's nothing called Vidhi, there's nothing called fate, forget it. But then Rama says, accept it. Discretion is better part of it, accept it, but then use your own grit. In this case, valor, grit and valor and patience and power. Try to go around this Vidhi. That Valluvar also says, Daivatan agadeninum muyarchitan. It doesn't mean it's thali, it's like just for that aspect. He says the importance of your own self grit activity. So it doesn't mean that Thiruvalluvar discards Daivatam. Here Daivatam, you should take it as karma. So karmas are with you, but you can't sit idle with karma. You got to take that karma as a lesson and move on with your faith and grit. That is what Veda says. Dharma, dharmo va adipatihi. You have to aspire for dharma. Dharma will never let you down. Dharmo jagatasya pratishtha. Upanishad also says that. So discretion is better part of valor. Well, Shakespeare says that Henry IV, you know that. What is that character? John Falstaff is a kind of a weird character. He pretends to be dead to protect the prince who becomes Henry V. So he says that wherever you have to suck your ego, suck up your ego, as long as you are able to win and see that you attain the goal, that's more important. I'm going to finish with Dr. Jayanti's father gave one pearl of wisdom. So we'll finish all that. So everybody says, everybody is the Anobhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. So discretion is better. Rama showed that. That is way of life. What Veda said, Rama never withered away from Dharma. Maricha, of all the people, Maricha says, Ramaha dharmo vigrahavan dharmaha sadhu satya parakrama. Twice this comes, punarukti. There are a couple of slokas in Valmiki Ramayanam because of the gravity. 2 times he repeats. When it comes to hope, Valmiki repeats this sloka one has to memorize. Right, I teach my son. It's a hard struggle for me to teach him Veda and Arulichel, but I don't give up. So that is the whole. So discretion is the better part of Veda. Veda says, and the faith gives you, whether it is a Arya text or it is a Dravida text, everywhere. Ulagam yavayum tamulavakalum nilai peruttalum nikalum. I have faith in the Supreme. So then that faith gives me hope to live. That when you have to live, what does Veda say? Lifelong learn. Swadhyaya pramata. Na pramaditavyam. Na pramadam. Don't neglect. Don't neglect learning. That Krishna also says. Swadhyabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa. What is tapas? Swadhyaya. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat. Swadhyabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam. What is tapas? Not just rolling the bead. Of course, you have to do, you do. Nobody is saying that. But it is basically be kind to others. Keep on learning. Every day is a new experience. Keep on learning lifelong. So Vedas established a civilization which told that learn, ano, badra, mangala vakyani, mangala vishayani. Bring everything from everywhere. Ano, badra, kratavo, yantu, vishwataha. Then be compassionate to people. Ramayana is full of compassion. Veda is full of compassion. Sahasram dadati. Give 1,000. Give 1,000 in one hand, but only takes 100 in another hand. Give 1,000 tenfold, 100-fold. Veda says that is the reason. When you go by step by step until the Sapta Soma Yajna, of which Vajapayam is the uttermost. Some people say even Rajasuya is less than Vajapayam. The Vajapayam finishes by giving benevolence, so much of gifts, 17 days, 17 different types of gifts to 17 different types of learned people, 17 different types of horses, chariot races you do. So the entire society keep on giving benevolence, compassion. So Valmiki dedicates whole one chapter in Ayodhya Kanda talking about compassion. Rama was leaving. He's already driving along the banks of Sarayu. Why would Valmiki drag this? Tulsidas didn't drag, Kamban didn't drag, Giridharadas didn't drag, Kirtibas didn't drag. Nobody dragged. Valmiki dragged. So Valmiki is a Mula Kavya. Margadarshi Magarshi Madhumayi Bhanitim Margadarshi Bhoja or Kalidasa. Madhumayi Bhanitim Margadarshim Prathamakavina, because he is a Prathamakavi. He brings and pours the value, art of living. When Rama is going away, he says, don't, people, Janapada of Ayodhya, don't underestimate my brother. Valmiki uses one of the best Sanskrit pada. You have to go to see Amarghosha. So he uses the word Andrushamsham. He could have used Prema, he could have used Karuna, he could have used Anukampa. He uses Andrushamsham. Bharata is full of Andrushamsham. My father is full of Andrushamsham. So, hey people, be compassionate, give. Don't stop. Shraddhaya deyam. Then it says, Asraddhaya adheyam, bhiya deyam, griya deyam, samvida deyam. So don't even think that you are at the upper hand giving to people. So in AzhvArs and else, we don't give dana to people. We just keep it on the floor or some elevated place and ask people to take it. Okay, so we don't want even the people who are receiving the dana to feel dejected that their hand is low and the person who is giving is up. So that's a nuance. Anyway, and then stand up for the truth. I will only do what is truth. The Satya is here is for me to protect the words of my father. Kalidas, of course, I'm little bit upset that he finishes the entire Ramayana. From Ayodhya Kanda, then comes Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, and Yuddha Kanda, everything in 104 slokas or so. That's it. I wish I could learn the Kalidasa. So anyway, but he just squeezes them. But then he's a Sringara Kavi. He dedicates one next chapter talking about Lord Rama showing Sita the beauty when he is returning from Lanka. That's a different story. So he says, Pitra dhattam rudant Rama prang mahim pratyapadhyata paschat vanaya gaccheti tadagnyam mudito grahit. Beautiful. So first, Andralanda Sendamarayai Ventradamma. Kamban brings that same tone there. Pitra Dattam Rudan. Oh God, why I should take this? So Rama didn't want to be the Yuvaraja. But the minute he was asked to protect the words of his father, he was so happy, jump in joy. Paschate vanaya gaccheti tadagnyam mudito. Oh, I'm happy. Not only that I have to take the responsibility, that's a secondary. The first responsibility is I do not wither away from Dharma. Dharmaya magati, Vyasa says, and then learn from mistakes. So what it is it? Although it is not in Valmiki Ramayana, both Kamban and Nammalvar brings Mane nokki madavanai marbil kondai madava kune sidaya undai vil nirattil terittai Govinda. So the some mistakes, and another mistake he did is that's a different way of interpreting. So he just tested the Brahmin Trijada when the Brahmin came to ask alms. So Rama learned from mistake. Atmanam manusham mani. That is the way of living. What Veda said, Sraddhayade. Astra, if you are not interested by mind to give to somebody, don't give. It doesn't mean you shouldn't give, but it already said give. Give with uttermost passion. So lifelong learning, Krishna says, Veda says. Then everybody says compassion, benevolence, standing for truth, learning for me. Everything is in Veda. These are elaborated in Ramayana. Every day learn. That's why you have Brahma Yajna. Now comes, so people said, okay, I have to recite one prashna every day. Keep learning. And then learn from others. Padam adatte. 1 quarter you learn from your tutor. One quarter from your sahapatis, brahmacharis, and 1 quarter from your experience. Watch people. Rama watched how Gautama lived. Rama watched how Arundhati and Vasishta lived. Rama watched how Ratri and Anusuya lived. Of course, Rama watched how Dasaratha and Kaushalya did. And of course, Rama watched how Kaikeyi lived and did the mischiefs anyway. So this is what it is. This learning should not be sacrificed. So learn, self-learning, learning from others. And this is a beautiful story. So, Bharadwajo hitribihir ayubihi brahmavarchasamupa muvasa tagum hatrin girirupana vivignatani vaddarshayan chakara Veda. Okay, I do this, learn this, watch from others. People get bored. Oh God, again Veda. Appa, it is boring, my son says. Okay, tagum hatrin girirupan avignatan niva darshayan chakara. In Sanskrit is different. It doesn't mean negative. Some places contextually you should take it in a positive sense. Te shagum haikaikasman muttim adhadade. Oh, go grab. So the Veda tells a story. I tell you, read, you get bored. Now I'm going to tell you a story. This comes in the Brahmana Bhaga in Kataka Prashna. Anyway, so once upon a time, Indra, there was a rishi called Bharadwaja. Whether this rishi is the rishi told in Ramayana, it doesn't matter. Let's not take that. The context matters. Okay, so there was a rishi called Bharadwaja. Then he was interested in learning. Ichha, wo itna interest tha. So he goes and then he says, okay, Indra is the deity which is eulogized number 1 in Rig Veda. Okay, don't ask me why. It was there, it is there, we accept it. Okay, but the Antaryami of Indra is Sriman Narayana. Anyway, that's a different story. We are not here for Vedanta. So then this Bharadwaja goes praise to Indra. Indra grants him 100 years. Satamanam bhavati shatayuhu shatam dadhati shatayuh purusha shatendriya. This also comes in the Ashwamedha Prashna. Okay, Shatayuh Purushaha Shatendriyaha. So 100 years he gave. This guy was not satisfied. Look at it. He goes to Indra again, asks him. Okay, then the third time. So 300 years he lived. According to Jyotish Shastra, it is 120 years. That's the reason Swami Ramanuja lived the full life as prescribed in Jyotish Shastra. But Veda only instructs 100 years. Okay, that itself is too long. Okay, so then look at the three hills. Bharadwaja gets to see three hills. Indra gives an example. Bharadwajo hatribihi ayubihi brahmavarcharyam uvasa. 300 years Bharadwaja was granted. His appetite did not satisfy. So he goes the fourth time to Indra. Then Indra says, are you seeing three hills? Here there are multiple hills. That's a different story. Dr. Jayanti helped me with all the beautiful pictorial representation. So thanks to her, and Aarti also. So those three hills you see, Tagum Hitrin Girirupana Vijnataniva Darshayan Chakara. He made Bharadwaja Darshayan Chakara. He made Bharadwaja to see those three hills. What's the big deal? It's a lush, maybe English green, whatever it is. Teshagum haikaikasman mushtina dadade. Okay, from that get one anadade mushtim. Get one handful of things, well, stone or sand, whatever it is. Go grab 3 handful from that. Sahovacha, Indra said. Bharadwajo, Bharadvedyatyamantre. He called Bharadwaja. Hey, Bharadwaja, come. Bharadvajetyamantraya Vedava yete. Bharadwaja came. What have you brought? You went to those 3 hills. All you could bring was only 3 mutti. 3 handful of stuff you could get. Bharadvajetya mantraya Vedava yete ananta vai Veda. So understand, no matter how long you live, knowledge has no seema, no boundary, but try to keep on learning. Etadva etaistribihi ayurbihi anvavochata. So at least be satisfied that you have learnt well. And what have you learnt? Go give it to others. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't stock it yourself. Bhartrihari says that beautifully. Bodharha matsaragrasta prabhavaha smayadushita apataschanye. So the people who are not knowledgeable, abhodha pahataschanye jirnamange subhashitam. Bodharha matsara. It is only the professors. The first enemy for a professor, particularly in US system, is your next door neighbor, because he would be competing to a National Academy of Science. You don't want to tell what you do. So you don't tell to your next door faculty, but you try to collaborate with somebody in England or somebody in India. It's a different story. It's exactly what happens today. Matsaragrastaha, prabhavaha, smayadushi. Those people who have power, whether it is because of their money or because of their connections, they tend to keep God, and they only want their kids to go to Harvard, Columbia. That's a different story what's going on now. Anyway, so all this, look at that. Sanatana Dharma is replete of so many things. Bhartrihari says this. So then for those people not learned, not interested in learning, forget it. They don't care. So try to give. So that's what Bharadwaja is instructed. Okay, whatever you learn, try to give back. So this is what happens. So knowledge is unlimited. So keep on learning. That is what Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy did. I wouldn't do. I finished my PhD in Leeds, and my full tenured full professor, I got it when I was 42. So everything is done. I don't read. But when I learned that how Sriman Parthasarathy used to drive Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy to Anna University, sit for 2 hours of class, bring her back. Then came Preeti told about, I think Srikant told about their living in Oklahoma. That was the time when Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy, in mid-age, don't want to disclose her age. Anyway, so she will curse me. So the Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy did her PhD in Oklahoma when she was in mid-years. Right, and then Mr. Parthasarathy used to provide all the assistance. Knowledge is unlimited. In fact, at this age, last year, she published a book on English translation of Sahasranama based on Mavi Ramanujacharya. And I was blessed. I was fortunate to give a Upodghatam to that Vishnu Sahasranama, whatever I am worth. So look at that. Knowledge is unlimited. Make effort. So this is what when you do Smarakam, these are the living. You don't have to only go to Rama and Sita or Vasishtha or Arundhati. You see these. These are the epitome of values which you see on your day-to-day basis. What Veda says, what Ramayana told, you see amongst yourself. All, of course, I know what Dr. Jayanti did. So it's not a shame to boast yourself when you can back it by facts. It ain't boasting if you could substantiate by facts. That's why I brought these two. This was in 1930s by Kumbakonam Manalur, Veeravalli Ramanujacharya. I read when I was 15 years. Those days, no Google, nothing. So my father used to take me to Kanimara Library. There I glanced through the Mahabharata translation, 1932. So now I could connect who this Veeravalli Swami is. Anyway, so that is again learning. So what Veda said, what Ramayana said, you see this. 1932, 2024, Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy's effort. So knowledge is unlimited. Learn. See, that is way of living. So Veda helps us. Knowledge helps us. Otherwise, why would I be sitting? Of all the places, West Texas, heavy hardcore Baptist belt, but I am here lecturing Ramayana every Sunday for 68 weeks non-stop we have done on Ramayana. All we have done is only up to 45th Sarka of Ayodhya Ganda. Only 4,000 slokas we have covered, 68 hours. See, knowledge, right? Kattorku sendra idamellam sirappu, Rigveda says, right? And Sangam poetry also says that Yadum Ure Kaniyan Pungundranath. Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. Yadanum Uramal Nadamal Yennaruvan Satunayum Kalladavaru. For those in Tamil, you know this. Right? Purushottama Naidu did it beautiful. Yadanum Nadamal Ur. Malur. He was a Vaishnavite. So he said every place is Lord Narayana's place. Yadanum Guramal Nadamal Yennoruvan Satunayum Kalladavaru. For a person who keeps on learning daily, the entire world is an oyster. That's the meaning. But you know, he's Chatu. He's a great Tamil scholar who translated Eid into Tamil. Anyway, that's a different story. So he says every land is Vishnu's land, which I witnessed here in West Texas amidst cotton field. Anyway, so learn. So learn from people, learn from Rama. Don't only limit from learning from Rama. See people like Parthasarathy, see people for AzhvArs Swami. And although I have not personally interacted with Trinarayan Swami, but I hear a lot about his passion. I think he has a daughter used to have, or I don't know, lives in Dallas. He comes here and voluntarily imparts knowledge to people. Karpar Ramabirana Yallal Karpar. It's my Maran Muni from my town, from my Srigamam. Karpar Ramabirana Yallal Matrum Karparo Purpa Mudala Pullerum Adi one in ye. Then Mamani goes one step further. If we have to learn from people who are living. That's why I take valuable life lessons from Dr. Jayanti. I didn't have very close personal interaction with Sriman Parthasarathy. It's a pity. Of course, when I teach classes, he used to come in the behind the screen and watch what Dr. Jayanti is learning and Aarti is learning. Aarti used to come regularly then. Anyway, so these are the things I see. Kattor Karadum Visayangalekkellam Patri. Whatever you have to learn from Yuga Purusha like Ram. Who is Ram? Innately blessed with the values for life. Kuvalaya Dalanilam Chayakayam Prasannam Karadrita Charachapam Kanchapatraya Taksham. So Kanchapatraya Jaksham Nijadin. Jita Nijasara Vargam Janmana Siddhasilam. That's the punchline. Janmana Siddhasilam. He was blessed innately with guna. So, Dadato Mangalakshome Vanavasaya Valkale. Dadrushuhu Vismitastasya Mukharagam Samam Jana. Beautiful, Kalidas. You can't escape pravachan without Kalidas or Kamban or Valmiki or Veda, whatever it is. So, Mukharagam Samam Jana. Andalarnda Sendamarayai Vendradi. Nothing changed him. He just walked steadfast. Dadato Mangalakshame. Just that day, Punarusu day, he was wearing all gold Mangalakshoma. So, he was wearing silk. Then next day, Valkala, bark. Doesn't matter. Dadrushuhu Vismita. People were stunned. Dadrushuhu Vismitastasya Mukharajasya Samam Jana. People were stunned. Can I have somebody like that? That's what it is. Can you have somebody like Parthasarathy who drove just as a chauffeur to make sure Dr. Jayanti gets what she wants. Patri Vibhava Gunu, the living. Vibhava here means you should not take it as avatara, the living. The living embodiments of guna, the virtues. Utrunarndu mannilulor, for all the pains we say. Who else would have suffered all that in 11,000 years? Lord Ram enjoyed only for 12 years. That's it. Rest all its problems after problems. He never gave up. Mannilulor tam ilavu for us. All the pain, that is the Pannil Inidana Tamil Pa. So, compassion. You see this. Andrushamsham, Prema, Daya, Anukampa. You see that. Well, everything was there. Then, gift, keep giving. Commencement sheep of Upanishad says, keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. Which he said, and beautifully again, Ramayan gives an example. When Rama was about to go, Rama was living on the southern bank of Ayodhya, which you would have seen. Ayodhya is on the bank of Gagra, Sarayu. And Rama gave everything. He was just playing he was about to leave for forest, gave up everything. All from his self-made money. That also Valmiki insists. He didn't borrow from his mother or he didn't borrow from his father. Whatever in the 12 years he went and fought and got, because he was a Kshatriya, he was allowed to do. He gathered his own wealth and he gifted from his own wealth. Valmiki is particular to say that. So he gave everything and he was playing in the cow shed. Goshte kridati dhanurdhari Goshte kridati vanamali. He was just playing because the next hour he is going to depart. Okay, then this Brahmin comes. His name was Trijata, and Valmiki portrays this in a funny way. So he just ties his Angavastra so that he wants to show power. While Rama says, okay, I have given everything, Brahmin. All I am left is only few cows, but I want to test you. Will you take care of that cow? So, Shatyam, just to tie up your Angavastra and use your fullest power and throw your stick. And I will give you as much cows as your stick goes or falls. So, this Trijata was standing on the southern banks of, look, Ramayana in Nava. We miss all these beautiful stories and episodes in Ramayana. So we are not even able to cross 45th Sarga. Sumitra's instruction to Lakshmana. 68 hours. That's all we were able to go. Anyway, that's a different story. So what happens? This guy throws his staff and it goes and falls on the northern bank of Sarayu. And Rama made sure that this Brahmin got that many cows. There's a different way of interpretation. That is the reason. So learning from mistake. Rama himself says that he didn't do mischief, but still he had done that error. Okay, because Rama is a Atmanam, Manusha. Error is human. So for that reason only, later people interpret in Dharma, Kuta and other things, people interpret that is the reason. Sugriva tested 2 times Rama to show his valor. One, because he did mischief with Kuni, which Valmiki does not say. The second thing is, he tested the strength of the Trijata Brahmin when he was about to give gifts to him. That is the reason. Perhaps Valmiki would have done this episode to test Rama. Okay. And where does this benevolence come? This benevolence comes from the Prathama Mandala of Rig Veda, where we have already studied the story of Kakshivan and Bhavya Sunaya's episode. So, Vedaha Upabrahmanartham Ramayan. So, this is, but then what it says, Rama, you can err, but repent. Rama did that. That is the reason. He is nothing but, who is he? He is nothing but Dhanur, Vokamata, Vokabhana. But he still listened to Sugriva and showed for the test. He proved Sugriva's test. Right? So, that is seeing benevolence and standing up for truth, which you have already seen. Satya, Dharma, Ritam, Satyam. Not only you should show the truth by action, outwardly, but you should also feel the truth. Ritam cha Satyam cha it. So, how does the world come? Rig Veda ends. The last mandala, Rig Veda ends. Sangachatvam, some prior to that. It says the world is all run by Satyam, which you connect with the Yajur VedA. Ashvamedha Prashna, Dharmo va adipatihi dharmameva varunde. So Satyam. So truth. Not only by action. Rama said, I will go. But he never thought ill of his Chotima. He never thought ill of Bharata. In fact, when Rama was taking bath in Godavari, in Panchavati, he used to feel, oh, this must be early morning, 3 o'clock. My Anuj, brother, how much he would have suffered. So that is it, standing up for truth. And then learn from mistake, which Maricha does. Sulabhova Purusha Rajanne Satatam Priyavadinaha Apriyasya Chapatasya Vaktasrota. He tried his best. Maricha tried his best to change Ravana. He did not. Vibhishana did try to change, but then he moved to other quarters. Whether it is correct or wrong, don't debate, but it is Sharanagati. He did just for us as an example to do. But then his other brother, right? His other brother stood with Ravana, but he taught Ravana that what you did by getting Ma Sita is wrong. So that is, you can try to teach people if they are willing to learn, but do not be stubborn. Purandaradasa hits this. Dharma Shravana Vidadake. Murgage Dharma Shravana Vidadake. What is the purpose of telling to a person who doesn't want to listen, who is a murka, who is a stubborn? You can be ignoramus. That was the reason. That was the case with Ravana. He was a knowledgeable person, but he was stubborn. He was murka. So you cannot change murka. Then you have to either join the other force, or because it's like Karna, it's like Drona, even it's like Bhishma Pitamaha. There's another reason because they call in Tamil is Senjo Trikaran. Anyway, all those things. So look at how much this gifts are keeps on giving. Huttukurudake, Deepa Vidadake, Huttukurudake, Deepa Vidadake. It's like people who are born blind. What is the purpose of even having a Surya? Anyway, that is an example Purandaradara gives, no offense. But he says, Dharma Shravana Vidadake Murkake. So forget Murka, but don't give up. Try your best. Right? Try your best like Maricha did. Beautiful sloka. Sulabaha Purushaha Rajanni Satatam Priyavadinaha. I am giving you like a medicine. Pathya. I know taking medicine or listening to hard facts is difficult. But hey nephew, listen. Sulabaha Purushaha Rajanne Satatam Priyavadinaha. Look at Ramayana. That is way of life. So that Andal tells how beautiful it is. We have come from Veda, we have gone to Smriti, we have gone to Itihasa, now coming to Bhakti Povam. Naneda, take responsibility. Own up to your mistake. Right? Own up to your mistake, take responsibility, but then don't be argumentative. Rama was never argumentative when he had to convince Lakshmana. He says, it is Daivatam, but we have to accept it. But Lakshmana, you come with me. Once Lakshmana says, Gadam Nibidya Raghunandana, I'm not going to leave you. Hey, Babi, I have taken refuge in you. Gadam Nibidya Raghunandana, I'm not going anywhere. Then once Rama knew Lakshmana is going to come, he says, it is only you have to protect your Babi. Valmiki says that Rama was very convinced that because of Lakshmana. So just don't be argumentative. Rama never argues. Rather, he reasons. Now people make books and make bestseller, recent book, Jefferson Fisher's book, if you would have read it, he will say, argue less, talk more. But what was Rama? Mritubhashi, Midabhashi, Purvabhashi. Swami Ramanuja was also like that. Mitam Vaktva, Shatam Gatva. He will talk very less, but he also practiced activity. Shatam Gatva, Mitam Bhuktva, Mitam Vaktva, Shatam Gatva. Ramanuja's way of life. How did he get this? He got it from Ramayana. Mritubhashi, Midabhashi, Purvabhashi. Hey, kaise ho? How are you? How are you doing? That's it. So then, finally, we are coming to it. Do service. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi, Mam Vidhi, Janakatmada, Adavim, Ayodhyam, Adavim Vidhi, Gacha Tata. What a beautiful sloka. Gacha Tata Yatasukam. Periyavachan Pullai pours pages and pages. Atmanam, Aham Vidhi, Mahatmanam. That, apart from that sloka, he pours pages and pages for Vyakyana for this. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi, Mam Vidhi, Janakatmaja, Ayodhyam, Adavim Vidhi, Gacha Tata Yatasukam. Kainkaryam. Kim karoti, kim karoti, kim karoti. And This is the punch of Nammalvar. Although Uyarve Paranbadiyai Ulladallam Tan Kandu, Uyarveda Nerkonduraitu, Mayarvedum Varamal, Monidarai, Valvikum, Mar and Sol, because this is Veda Saram. What was the Saram? Emperman says, do this, but Tondu, Kainkaryam, service, Jani Janardhana Bhavaha. In Varkari Sampradaya, they put the emphasis, Jani Janardhana Bhavaha. Contain, finally, all these Nadiyan Ullan, Udalullan, Andattagattan, Puratullan, Padiye Idennalam Padi, Allan Paramparan. All this he says, all the philosophy, all the Vedanta. It's all says. Then what is Thiruvaimozhi? Pailum Sudarli, Nedimarkadimai, Kansora Venkurdin, another Valavar, Theterum Tiralteni, Tenaranganai, Tirumadu, Vatamil, Vanamali, Varvanai, Vaiti, Malkul, Sintayarai, Atam Mevi, Alandareti, Trivaranga Pasaram. So, Tondaradi Padiyalvar says it is just the service to the humankind. Jani Janardhana Bhavaha. So, somebody asked this preceptor Nanjiya, who is a Vaishnava? Pirar novu kandu amma enbavan Vaishnavan. Pirar novu kandu am enbavan avaishnavan. Beautiful. That's what Sri Vaishnavam is all. Don't see the suffering of others. How did they get it, Rama? Rama could not see the suffering. He gifted everything and he repented for his silliness. Although Kuni silliness is not in Mula Grantha, but Trijada silliness is in Mula Grantha. Anyway, so what happens? Tonde, Kanden, Kamalaram, Thiruvaimozhi finishes this. Tondu. Whether you talk in Pailum Sularali or Nedumar Kadimai, or the same thing Kalyan picks up, Kansora Venkudi, Trichere Pasaram. And then when it comes to Mahabalipuram, he says, Nannada Valaunar. Then Nannada Valaunar, Theterum Tiralteninai, Meli particle, Tirumalai. Then you know this Maraneri Nambi Vrittanta, we don't have time. So, what we are coming to an end. What does Ramayan says? Tondu, Kainkaryam. It is nothing but. So, Ma Sumitra says to Lakshmana, you are born to be of service. That we know because he is Adisesha. Chendral Kodayam Irundal Mudal Tiruvandadi. Okay. So, then what is Nammalvar? Finishes. Everybody thinks Nammalvar is a Urdhvara Retas like Sukha Brahmam. He only talked about Brahmam, abstract and all this. Fine. But why would he tell this? And why would he tell the importance of family value? So, in Nedumar Kadime Pasaram, he says that. Right? Nalla Kotpatulahangal Muninulum Tana in the Alikamalakana Andan Kurur Sadagopan. Solapatta Vairatul Ivayum Patum Valargal. Nalla Padatal Manai Valdal. You have to live. You have to live God, live life. How do you live? You got to see the Supreme. For Sri Vaishnava, it is Kainkaryam. Avan Ugappukaha Kainkaryam. Not for me. Not even that Ahankara. Anyway, Kanden Kamalamalarpadam Kandalume Vinde Vodindana Vinayayinavella. When you see the Supreme, everything is gone. But to do that, you need to be a Kainkaryam. Kainkaryam, Kim Karot, Kim Karom, Kim Karom. Tonde Seidu, Ennum Toludu, Vadi. This is what God gave. Iraivan Panitta Panivage. So we have seen hope everywhere. So this now the answer is, this is not the way we live. No, discard this. Hope is like a sun because I am Atma Brahma, I am Brahmasmi. Adiyenullam 882. Memorize this Thiruvaimozhi. Adiyenullan, Udalullan, Andattagattan, Puratullan, Padiyein, Iduvendru. You can't tell, but Kadiyan Atrathudayalai, Odiyadu Pulludayan. You can't measure him. Who? He is such a benevolent. Yeda Yedalan Kirmagan Yenadi Irangi, Matravar Kinarul Surand, Maraiman, Madanoki, Untori, Umbi, Embi, and Norindilai. Ugandu Toda Ni Anaki, Engasakal Vandi, Manatire, Irindida, Arivanan in Adinayada in then. Who is he? Down to earth. Ramanuja imbibed this. Right? So, ending. So, we started saying hope, faith, hope, way to live, learn. Be compassionate, be benevolent, always try your best to speak truth. It may be difficult. You know, there is a saying, Vivekananda used to say, okay, how do I control? Well, somebody went to Vivekananda and said that I can control my senses. Then he said, okay, go like Bharadwaja and Indra's story. Vivekananda made it simple. It said, take a jaggery or sugar. Okay, you said you can control the senses. Speaking truth is difficult. பொய்மை வாய்மை எனப்படுவது யாதனின் யாதொன்றும் தீமை இல்லாத சொல்லல. As long as it is not affecting somebody, even that you shouldn't do, but it gives you lenience. So he says, don't think that you can control everything. Truth is like that. So you put your sugar. Okay, I can put it. Don't eat. Okay, Swami, I can control my senses so that I don't want to swallow the sugar. But it melts on its own involuntary action. It melts on its own, it went in the tongue and it went into the body. Look. So try to learn. Certain things you cannot control. One such thing is being truthful in the mind. Ritam. Ritancha swadhyaya pravachancha. Then only ritam is very difficult, like dhamma and shama. Shama is controlling the mind. Shama is indriya. Indriya also you can control. But controlling shama, controlling the inner sense, shama, and controlling the truthfulness in your mind, ritam is difficult. So Vivekananda says, but try. So Sita gives this example. Hope. Live with hope as long as you have faith. Right? So 2 times punarukti you may think there is dosha. There is no dosha. Because what a beautiful 10 months Ma Sita got separated. One time she also tried to take her life. But that to show that people go to distress, but then you cling on to hope. Who has the hope? Maruti. Then he says, hey, Maruti, I saw you, I gained hope. Kalyani bata gateyam laukiki pratibhati me jiyete jivantam anandau naram varsha sada. Beautiful Ramayana sloka. Twice Ma Sita tells this to Hanuman. Once he said, Rajo Dasarato nama rata kunjara partiva. When he listens, she listens. Her hope springs. Even I get goops from. Then she says, how did I live? Now I realize, Gateyam. There is a proverb saying, man lives for 100 years. If somebody lives for 100 years and if they have hope along the road, you will always see positivity. See, Ramayana, people pay $10,000 to take this lesson from Columbia and Harvard. Anyway, they can come to Texas Tech. That's a different story. Or come to Hindu temple of Labak here where we teach Ramayana. So Ma Sita gives us Kalyani. Good words are there. Proverb, Gateyam. But there is a proverb floating on. Hanuman, now I remember. Laukiki Pratibhati me. It is having name around proverb. Ete jivantam anandau naram varsha sadadapi. People are said to live 100 years or 80 years like Sriman Parthasarathy. That itself is a Purna life. So you see hope. So don't give up hope. Kalyani bata gateyam laukiki pratibhati me ete jivantam anandau naram var jivanta. You will get ananda. You will get hope in life. Don't give up. The same thing Valmiki puts that as if Bharata is saying, when Hanuman comes to tell that Hey Ramchandra is coming, he is at the Bharadwaja Muni's ashram, don't give up your life. Then Bharata says the same repeat to Hanuman. So Hanuman was at the receiving end because Hanuman is Acharya. But here, because of the gravity, Bharata also says that Kalyani Batagateyam Laukiki Pratibhati me Ete Jivantamanando Naram Varsha Sadadapi. Be service to others, Kainkaryam. Kainkaryameva Purushartham. Service to the Supreme. But our Sampradaya, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, elevates the service. Pailum Sudaradi, Nedumar Kadimai, Kansora Vengurudi, Nannada Valavunar, Theaterum Tiral Teninai, Memborul Poga Vitti, Meme Tirumale Patram. These are all the examples to show. That's why or Vidurajvaraki Chakravarti Tirumagan say the Samskaram. Or Gridra Rajanuku for Jatayu Brahmameda Samskaram Gacha Loka Anuttaman. I am sending you to the place, hey Gridra Raj. I am sending you to Anuttaman Lokan Gacha. Who is Rama to do that? That is Anima Atimanusha Sravam. Guratarvan takes it and rips it apart. That's a different story. Beautiful. I am sending you to the heavenly abode. Where? Ahita Agnis go. Where? There again benevolence. Valmiki is spot on. He says, where people who donate good things for good cause go, I'm sending you. So you don't have to just only simply take Akshivan or Bhavya Sunaya. That is yonder. Nobody knows. I am a Yajurvedi. I could not even finish the Padapada of Yajurved. Then I went into all JE preparation and all the thing. Anyway, so I couldn't even finish Yajurved. How would I know about Rigved? This is in Rigved. Forget it. So Ramayana, of course, Ramayana, at least Navaha you would have learned, but who would have learnt about Trijada and what he gave it to Suyagnya and all those things? Nobody. But we see that Asmin Sampratam Loke, in our world, see people who are benefacted, whether it's a Bill Gates, doesn't matter. He had given to foundation, malaria and things. See from people. I have to learn. Every day is learning. And we finish. We saw hope. Life is all about based on faith. Faith leads to hope. Hope then lets you live a valuable life. Valuable life will always lead to two important things. Abhyudaya, elevated. Kannada says, what is Dharma? Athato Dharma Jignasa. Brahma Sutra says, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Prior to that, Kannada says, Vaisheshika. He says, let's learn about Dharma, because Dharma will get you to an elevated state. Abhyudaya. But along the way, it will also help you to get accomplishment, material accomplishment, spiritual accomplishment. Everything is needed. So don't worry. Kalyani Batagateyam. This every person should memorize. It's just 32 letters. 32 letters. This is the first sloka I taught my son when he was 8 years old. Anyway, so I told you, we see people, and this is one learning. Bodhayantav parasparam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tushyanti te me ramanti. I enjoy, you enjoy, give knowledge. Jayanti Parthasarathy gave me this. Tatram. My father always says, I had gone through stress. Then Seshadri Rajagopalan, some of those people who have joined on the call would know this gentleman. He was in the higher position in Indian telephones, I was told. He says, Jayanti, don't worry why it happened to you. Why me? Why did it happen to me? Why me? This is what Ma Sita tells. This is what Bharata tells. He was about to give up his life because he didn't see his Anuj. Then came this Acharya. Then why me? Forget why me. It happened. You can't change. It's water under the bridge. But what is next? This helps. When I went through a lot of stress, health issues in family, I stick it in my office. Today I'm talking from my office. Because my son said, don't do, I have a math competition. Anyway, it's okay. That is again give and take. What next? How do I cross this? Same thing, like Rama did not know. He didn't even know there was a person called Sugriva. He would have never met Hanuman. He just kept on walking. Hey forest, hey Pampa, have you ever seen? Hey Godavari, have you seen? Manushya. Then he kept his hope. There came, in Aranyakanda, there came Kabanda. Right? So then guide, then Shabari, Kabanda, then Sugriva, then Hanuman, then Angada, then Ravana, then there again, what next? That's what, yet this is the golden thing I learned from Parthasarathy, Jayanti Parthasarathy's family. Why me? Forget, it happened. Same thing, Rama, why me? Why should I? Why should I go through this? I am Atma. Who is he? Pita Putrena Pitriman Yoni Yono. He is Pita. Again, Veda Shabda. Pita Putrena Pitriman Yoni Yono. He is the Sarva Pita. Why would he come and do the suffering? Perhaps he would have known, but he took it on himself. But then he lived like a human being. Then he always hoped for the next. What next? What next? What next? Then definitely, like Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy achieved, right? And I have many students like Rachel. Vasuki comes from a Vaduga community in Ottagaman. Built a school. They are all in this class, in this Goshti. Built a school for Vaduga community, and they make it a practice to teach Sadvishya. Example, what next? So, with profound gratitude, I extend thanks to the generosity of Parthasarathy's family. And as I told you, I've given you examples. Whether it is making Puliora paste or writing a book, her thirst for knowledge is not stopping. She tells me that she's going to publish a book on Dasavaratam from AzhvArs, I guess. Engumulan kannan enna maganai kainde ingi illayal niraniyan tun pudaipa vandane. So, and she's very good in making YouTube. So, I'm so busy, overwhelmed. Not only this, I teach many classes and this and that and all the thing. So I asked her, I will do this presentation if you help me with your fine hands to make this. And of course, she was ably assisted by Aarti. So that is it. That is value. Vedas are replete. If you don't understand Vedas, fine. Read Ramayana. If you don't understand Ramayana, read Arulichayal. Or Mannil Nallavannam Vaalalam. Thirugnana Sambandhar. When he talks about Sirgadi, Mannil Nallavannam Vaalalam. All the texts are replete with good things, way of life. Or see people. That will be a more close. Agni Avamo Devata. People like many in this group are Avamo Devata. Nobody has left. We started with 31. 3 people joined. So, whatever it is useful, it is because of my father. My father, Mahan, 10 languages. I wish I couldn't learn Marathi. Whatever it is, it's only because of my father and great grandfathers and the place I lived, whether it is in remote village or in Westmambalam. Here you go and learn from Urapakam Swami, or here or there. Thirst, that is what it is. So, what is Jayat then? It is all hope. We'll finish with an important Jayat Chatushtayam. So, this Vanara, this Hanuman was sitting on Simsupa Vriksha. He saved Mata. Then his purpose is not only contain Sita, he saw, but that's not alone enough. He needs to know who is the enemy. Hey Ram, hey Ma Sita, how do I know who is Ravana? I've never seen him. Bless me. I am having the great Jayatyati Balo Ramaha Lakshmanascha Mahabalaha Raja Jayati Sugrivo Raghavena Abhipalitaha Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha Hanuman Shatru Sainyanam Nihanta Marutatmajaha Na Ravana Sahasram Me Yuddhe Pratibalam Bhavet Shilabhistu Pragrataha Padabhaischa Sahasrashaha Arthayitva. That's confidence. Now I am confident that I will break this Ravana and this Bhala with small stones. Ardhayitva Purim Lankam Abhivadya Chamaitilim Samurdartho Gamishyami Mishata. I'll smash everybody. Mishatam Sarvarakshasam Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyo Namostu Chandrarkamarudganebhya Nadiya Porul Kaikudum Yanamam Pugasham Undam Vidiyal Vadiyadakum Variam Kamalai Nokum Nidiya Arakkarsenai Nirpattariya Vagai Sudiya Kamban Vagai Sudiya Silai Raman Tolvali Uruarke Srinagaryam Mahapuryam Tamravarni Uttare Tade Sritintrini Muladhamne Shatako Mangalam Tula Mulavati Naya Tochita Akila Suraye Saumya Jamatri Yogindra Sesham Chayastu Mangalam Mangalasasana Parahi Madacharya Purogamaihi Sarvaischa Purvairacharyahi Satkritaya Astu Mangalam Srimate Ramya Jamatra Munindraya Mahatmane Sriranga Vasine Bhuyat Nitya Srihi Nityamangalam Mangalani Santu Shubham.
Dhanyavasmi Swami, Rig and Dasan. Again, Swami Dasan. It was a very profound, very defined talk, and I think all of us will have to listen again and again to understand more of it and follow all of what you said, because it, as we say, Sanatana is a way of life. It is not a religion. And the way you have told us with so many examples. And
you are an example. Nadi Manandu Nadanodu Puvum Narum Pola Kudi Nallaramagya Illaramadhanil Yella Yella Perinbam Adaindu Kottamangalam Subbu, not me. That is knowledge. Mangalani Santu.
Dhanyasme. We don't know to whom we are born and where we get married or how our life is going. But I was truly blessed to be born as the Kollipeti of Mavi Ramanujacharya and Anangracharya, my tata, and my parents, who induced so much of values in us. And after we live in our parents' house as girls only for about 20 or 22 years. But the rest of their life, when you really know yourself, you live with the other family. And that I was truly blessed to have Parthasarathy Swamin as my better half or my equal half. Just as my Professor Dr. Kandapan would say, when people say there is a woman behind a successful man, here is a man who walks the path along with this girl and takes her through that, which is very, very true, which we have seen in every moment of his life. He truly lived for us, his family, and all his brothers and sisters. And for him, everybody is equal, whether his sister or it is the next door neighbor. So he would say everybody was equal, and we gather here to cherish his life with us. Yeah, any amount of number of years they are with us, it is still not enough for us. But we truly believe that he is in a much better place with Bhagavan and doing Kaikaryam to Bhagavan, which in turn will bless all of us as we are here. Thank you, Swamin, for the wonderful talk. And I couldn't have asked for any better day with all my friends, my relatives, and everybody who mean to us. And there are several people who have said that they want the recording. By Bhagavan's grace, we will be able to send the recording to many people. And this particular lecture, I'm sure, will go to many, many more people over the years through our website, BrindhavanJapam. BrindhavanJapam is a small thing which me and Parthasarathy started several years ago. We have a website. It is basically for Vaishnavanubhavam. We have our YouTube channel as well, and where we...
And for your information, your talk, there is a person from Gujarat who is a senior vice chancellor in a Sanskrit university called Dr. Hema Mehta. She has joined. And the Vasuki, she is running multiple schools for Vaduga community. She has joined. That shows the people know now. Of course, they would have known by words and deeds of Mr. Parthasarathy, but now they know who Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy is, the knowledge thirst. So because they are all doing PhDs. So they sometimes they get stressed. Well, I don't understand. I gotta come. Rachel, she's doing a PhD in Sanatana Dharma from upstate New York. So that's why I insisted that okay, you attend, but if you have to get credit, you get. Then she asked me, "How do you know I attended?" I said, "I will know from seeing." But I'm not very erudite in this IT or thing. But I said I'll watch. So she is there. So what I want to say is, you are beyond your friends and family. Other people have already joined.
Bhagavan brings everybody whomever.
There. Bhavadvida Bhagavataha Tirthabhutaha Sarve. Vyasa says. Of course, it is the statement of Yudhishthira when Vidura comes. He says, I missed you because he went on Tirtha Yatra. Bhavadvida Bhagavataha Tirthabhutaha Sarve Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabhrita. Because you are the people who make the place pious. Because you are a Bhagavata. Bhagavata yasya. Bhagavato yasya. So you are keeping God in your... God means here Jani Janardana Bhava. Good people. Right? So this is Sanatana Dharma. It doesn't say you Baptists go Wednesday and Sunday. No. Atma Raga. But you do. But always, Veda says, all these, I say, okay, I do this yaga, that yaga, all is there. But that's not the purpose of Veda. You have to read Bhashya, China Bhashya, Bhattabhaskara. Yajurved is more replete with Bhattabhaskara Bhashya. But they say, form Goshti. Dr. Jayanti, what you did, 35 people were listening to my blubbering, rambling. Veda says, Sangrahan Eshtya Yajate Imam Janatagum Sangrahanati. Bring people together. And it gives you an example. Like 12 different months make a year. Like so many spokes make a wheel. Sangrahan Eshtya Sangrahan Karo. Yajate Yaj Yuj Sangati Karane. Learn. If you learn Veda with meaning, you don't get perplexed at all. It's not that I do puja, I do yajna, I gave it to a man who eats a lot. No, no. That is there. But that's a step. It's like climbing the rung of the ladder. Right? The goalpost is to way of living. Sangran yeshtya yajate imam janatagum sangrannaniti. Then how do you combine people? Don't you see a year? A year is not made of a single month. A year is made of 12 months. Right? Dvadasa masaat samvatsaraha. It gives you an example. Oh, you don't understand. Don't you understand? A year is made of 12 months. Dvadasa masaat samvatsaraha samvatsarameva varunde. You all expire to grow. So you expire. What is next? What is your next birthday? Next birthday, next birthday. Like that. Right? So GOT is important and it's getting difficult. But thanks to these IT people, I'm not an IT people, they only helped with Skype and then went to Zoom and all the thing. Otherwise, how would I do? I can't come to Columbus. Right? It's not possible. So, Danya ho. Okay.
Dhanyosmi Swami.
Dhanyosmi Swami.
Anybody?
Any questions? Burning question.
Okay, thanks, ma.
Anybody wants to say anything? You can unmute yourself and say we'll have a few minutes.
Don't worry, I'm a professor. I'm used to getting thrown questions. Okay. Shall we call it a day?
Yes. My brother-in-law, Lakshmi Narasimhan, Parthasarathy's brother will say a few words.
Oh, okay.
Close it.
Nearly 2 hours satsang.
1 minute. Let me just call Chidaba.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
yes.
hear you.
Please.
Okay. I am Dr. Lakshman Narasimhan, brother of Mr. Parthasarathy Srinivasan Parthasarathy, and Dr. Jayanti is my Manni. As a matter of fact, more than Manni, she was like my mother. I stayed with her and was going through my PhD program when Parthasarathy was in the Gulf, working in the Gulf. So I stayed with her. I lived with her in the house, and then I pursued my PhD, etc. That apart, we are very grateful for the great thought-provoking talk by Dr. Ramkumar, Seshadri Ramkumar. It is wonderful, and the way of life, the art of living, these are, so they are considered as modern thoughts or something like that. Dr. Ramkumar has brought out how it is all embedded into our great Sanatana Dharma, and how Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy and Parthasarathy lived as example for practicing what is the art of living. I also thank Mr. Ramayanam, Jayanti Stithya, and other elders who have been part of this lecture. I should also be very grateful and thankful to Dr. Jayanti Parthasarathy for having arranged this kind of lecture. It's very wonderful. It is, I do not know how to express myself. And I thank one and all again. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mani.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being with us on this very auspicious occasion, which we will cherish forever. Ariyandasan Swami.
Yes.
And thanks for that certificate also.
Oh, as a token of appreciation, we sent a small certificate
You want
from
to see? That is also her thoughts. You see,
Dr.
she
Ram
did this on her own.
to share it. Thank you so much. We are truly blessed to have you as part of.
We sailed together. Okay, I learned from you. That's it.
Dhanyos.
All Bhagavan grace.
Yes.
Look at her. True.
Okay.
Polama.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you.
Mangalani Santu.
Thank you, everyone.